matter of the people of the state of California versus Orenthal James Simpson, case number BA096.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you.
Recording again on Wednesday. Hi, Taylor.
Hi, Fires.
You look so different.
Do I think I look a little flushed? Keep going. I have such bad allergies right now. Like I told you this before. Like my allergies are insane. So I might be a little flushed. I feel like I can't feel my nose. Keep
Are
going.
you a little drunk?
I had one glass of port. I'm drinking port, which I think is also important for my story.
That is thick AF.
But you start us off. You go.
Welcome to Doom to Fail. I'm Fars, joined here by Taylor. We're going to be covering a history story here that is going to be super exciting, super fun, super interesting, super scary, super haunted, super October, and super Taylor vibes. That good?
That for me. Yeah. So it's October. So I have I don't know, whatever. I have 4 spooky stories to tell you in October. This is the first one. So number 1, this is the first one. So as I said before, my drink is an empty decanter of whiskey, and then you turn around and you look in a mirror, and then you see it in the mirror and it's full. Right? Do you know?
Super abstract. Yep.
Yes. You know what I'm doing because I made sure you did some homework, and I also want to recommend a movie for each of my 4 scary stories. So for this one, I asked you to see the movie, and you were like, "Duh, I've seen that movie before," which of course you have. And we're going to talk about something that we both love. We're going to talk about ghost ships.
But yeah.
Don't you love ghost ships? I love ghost ships so much. I even talked to like Miles, my 6-year-old son, about ghost ships. He's like, we love talking about ghost ships. They're so fun. So I have 3 acts to do. The Mary Celeste, which is the most famous of the ghost ships. The MV Joyita, which is another ghost ship. And then let's just talk about the movie Ghost Ship and how much we like it.
Yes. There is a movie I literally just watched, Taylor, like maybe 2 weeks ago, called Blood Vessel. But Vessel is Vessel. And it's a Nazi ship that is boarded by people who are like soldiers on the Allied side, I think I've seen that. Sunk, and then they get on it and it's totally abandoned. It is fucking awesome. It is so fun. It is so fun. And long story short, it's like Demeter, the story of the Demeter. It's basically that, except it's so good.
I think I've seen it. Oh my God, I'll definitely watch it again. I feel like I watched it in our like scary movie thing, but oh my God, yes. I love ghost ships. I love ghost ship movies. A ghost ship is essentially like the ghost town of the sea. It's an empty ship that's just floating, and there's still stuff on it. There might be clues, but you don't know what happened, and there are no people. Like that's what it is. It also hasn't sunk. So there's like thousands and thousands of ships who probably had like weird stuff happened and were abandoned, but it sunk, so we don't know anything about them. We assume that it sunk with people on it, but we don't know. But in these cases, we know that it didn't sink, but there are no people on them. You know?
Can we talk about why they're creepy? I'll tell you my story. I think it's creepy because ships are creepy fucking anyways. Like, if you think about it, like half of what you're on is underwater. If you go under there, like everything above you is water, potentially. It's just the bowels, and like you can't run away from things quickly because like there's always like barricades between you. It's just scary. The whole thing is just scary.
And also, like, any fucking thing can happen when you're out at sea. You know? Like, there's nowhere to go. You can't, like, run away. Like, a haunted house, you can leave.
Taylor, I don't even like going into the stairwell of a large apartment building because even that's fucking freaking me. It's like in this, like, weird area that nobody should see, you know?
That's definitely fair. When I worked at that hedge fund that I was talking about last episode, I worked on the 37th floor of a big building, and when you were in the bathroom or when you were in the stairwell, it sounded like you were on a ship because the building moved as it's supposed to for like stability, but you could like hear it. It would go like, it was very scary. I did not like it. So I think we talked about like how scary the sea is a couple times. Like we talked about it like a couple big ships that happened in some of my episodes. Like some Acadian refugees never made it to Louisiana. They just don't know what happened to them. I'm sure there's boats of like Spanish friars that never made it to the New World. So like there's always like shit can happen. Anything can happen. Once you're out there, there's like nothing. There's stars, there's like your compass, but like really crazy. And also like how we never found that like Malaysian flight that just disappeared a few years
Yeah.
ago. Like that's how big the ocean is. The ocean is terrifyingly huge, and you can
Agreed.
get lost so really, really easy. So these are some of my two of my favorite ghost ships. There are many ghost ships. There might be explanations for them, and I want to hear what you think that they might be. Have you heard of the MV Joyita?
I have not.
Cool. So at least I'll tell you one you haven't heard about. But let's start with the Mary Celeste.
The
So
most famous ghost ship of all ghost
the
ships.
most famous ghost ship. The Mary Celeste actually started out as a Canadian ship called the Amazon. It was
Oh,
built in 1861. So it was built in Canada, and she was a brigantine, which means she had two masts, and she was built to be a cargo ship. She was 100 feet across and 25 feet wide at the widest point. She was owned by a group of people because we talked about that before, that like it's a great way to invest before the stock
yeah.
market, before like all these things. It's like you can like buy a boat and like be a part of like, it will essentially bring cargo like back and forth and all the things. So the first captain of the Amazon was a man named Robert McKellen. He was the first to sail, and on his first ship, his first voyage, he died quickly. A few weeks into it, he died of like a mysterious illness. So the first captain died kind of right away. Another captain named John Parker took over. On his first like exhibition out of the Americas, he hit a bunch of fishing equipment in Maine, and the ship was damaged. He had to get it fixed before he could go any further. And then when he got to Europe, he hit a boat in the English Channel, and that boat sunk. So like it didn't.
Jeez.
So far, not great.
Yeah.
Um, but there was a few years of like everything fine. Like the boat was going like from the West Indies up to like Nova Scotia, Canada, back to England, and like doing this big circle through like Europe and the Atlantic, and everything was okay. Um, in October 1867, the Amazon was wrecked on an island in Canada and left unclaimed. So it was officially called like derelict. So what you could do then is just like leave your boat if it got wrecked on the shore, because I guess what are you going to do? You can't move it. You just leave
Yeah.
it. And so then it goes to, then someone can like buy it to salvage it, or they can like buy it and try to fix it, but like you don't own it anymore. You kind of just leave it. So from this story and other stories, like the shores are just full of boats. Like the Bounty was just like left on the shore to like fall apart into the ocean, so they just kind of like leave boats at the end when they're done. But the Amazon ended up being bought by a man named Alexander McBean, who sold it to a Richard Haynes of the US, who spent $20,000 in today's money to fix it up. So Richard Haynes brought it to the US, registered it in New York, and renamed it the Mary Celeste.
Whoa.
So I don't know why, but it was called the Amazon first, and now it's the Mary Celeste. He lost it to creditors, and it was bought by another group who did more upgrades. And one of the people who was part of this new group, who was the owner, was Captain Benjamin Spooner Briggs, and he's the one who we're going to talk about.
Okay.
So Captain Briggs is from a seafaring family. He's super religious, which is like something that people kind of harp on later. Very, very religious. He married his cousin, as you do. Her name was Sarah, and they had 2 children. Why not?
Those kids are not doing great, but yeah. You look like you're on the
So now
Mary
it's
Celeste. The
18.
way you're drinking out of like a martini. What is that, Manhattan glass?
We're
Like
drinking out of
whatever.
No, it has grapes engraved in it. I think it's just like a fancy wine glass. I bought it at a thrift store. I bought like 6 of them.
You would fit in on the ghost ship like very well, Taylor.
Oh my God, that's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me. Thank you. Do you
Halloween
watch
ideas.
1899
No.
on Netflix? It's one season, but it's like about a boat and like weird stuff is happening on it. It's like not a ghost ship. You don't know what's going on, but it's obviously set in 1899, but everyone's just like dressed so cool and amazing, and like it's awesome. But thank you. So
You're welcome.
now it's 1872. And Captain Briggs is the captain of the Mary Celeste. This year there's been bad weather all year long. It's like not been a good year for weather. Incidentally and unrelated, Mount Vesuvius erupted in 1872. Just
Whoa.
FYI. Like a little like lava flow eruption. But it's time to take the Marie Celeste on her first official trip. She's going to go from the US to Genoa, Italy, which is like in the top left corner of Italy. So they have to go like through and into the Mediterranean Sea and up to Italy.
Yeah.
Captain Briggs and his wife Sarah and their 2-year-old daughter Sophia are the ones who are on like the civilians on this ship. So incidentally, also Sophia actually turns 2 right before the voyage, and her birthday is on Halloween, which is
Oh.
cool.
Wait, so is the dad
I mean,
and the mom
she's just
second
another one.
cousins with their own daughter?
God, I don't know. It's a good question. It gets
Gross.
confusing to me when it like gets like second cousin once removed and like blah blah blah. But yeah, no, it's not great.
If I marry my
Not great.
sister, do we have our own siblings as our
Nieces
children?
and you have your own nieces and nephews as your children.
That's right. That's what it would be.
Forrest does
Let's
not
move
have a
on.
sister for everyone who's worried about that
Let's
question.
let's
Um,
let's move forward.
they do leave their son behind. He's 7. They leave him behind to be in school. So there are descendants of the Briggses alive because of the son that lived. There's also on the crew, there's first mate Albert Richardson. He is married to a niece of this man named Winchester, who is one of the owners of the boat. And he's sailed with Briggs before, so like they're friends. The second mate is a dude named Andrew Gillig, also a very accomplished sailor. The steward is Edward Head. He's newly married. He is also like knows what he's doing. There's 4 general seamen from Germany, and everyone is for the most part like very nice. Sarah Briggs wrote a letter to her mother and called them um, quite capable, a good crew, like nothing to worry about. No one was worried. So it is on October 20th, 1872. Briggs gets to New York. He lives in Massachusetts, gets to New York to start packing and getting ready for this voyage. So it was about a week of prep. The cargo on the Mary Celeste is 1,701 barrels of alcohol. And it's not
Sweet.
fun alcohol.
Oh,
No, it's not fun. It's ethanol. So it's like for fuel, for disinfectant. If you drink it, you die or you go blind. So it's not fun. It's
it's
just
probably fun.
a
Like
thousand
for the
barrels.
no, dude, it's probably fun for like the 6 minutes before you go blind.
Sure. Those are really fun 6 minutes. Then you're blind.
Yes.
Not great. So yeah. So um on November 5th, they tried to set sail, but the weather wasn't great, so they made it to Staten Island and then waited 2 days, and they finally departed on November 7th. The letters that Briggs wrote to his family were like, again, everything looks good. Make sure the boy studies. Like, we're going to be home soon. No big deal. We're just on this trip. So that is November 7th.
Wait, when do they set sail?
Spoiler. November 7th is when they
They
finally
set
leave
sail
New
on
York.
November 7th. Okay.
hmm
Okay, got it.
And they never make it. They don't make it to, they're trying to get to Genoa. They never make it to Genoa. On December 4th, so 6 weeks later, Captain David Morehouse of the ship the De Gratia spotted a ship doing some weird things in the ocean. The sails were up, but the rigging was odd. And the rigging is like the ropes and all the stuff. Like it wasn't, some of the sails were up, but not all of them. Like it looked weird. So he was like, this ship seems to be in distress. The De Gratia left New York 8 days after the Mary Celeste and should have been on like the same path as them, but they or I guess maybe they weren't even supposed to be in Genoa yet. They didn't really know yet. But the De Graffi is on the same path as them and should have gotten there like 8 days after them if it would have been like correct. But instead, they like see this boat kind of floating aimlessly in the water. So Captain Morehouse has his first and second mate go check, and they get closer to this like random boat out in the middle of the sea, which is so bizarre they even found it. Like because the sea is so huge. And like I read Moby Dick a couple years ago, and like in Moby Dick, you would have like letters. You would write a letter to someone to say like, I'm having a great time at sea, I'm fine, and give it to another ship if you happened to see another ship. You know what I mean? Like you don't
Yeah,
necessarily
yeah,
ever
yeah.
see another ship. The ocean's so huge. So the first and second mate go up there. They are like calling out. They're like doing signals like, hey, anybody there? What's going on? There's no one on the deck. They get on the boat. They see that it's the Mary Celeste and like, this is weird because they should be 8 days ahead of us. They're like, what's going on? They get on the boat and there's nobody on the entire boat. It's a ghost ship.
They get on the boat. God, so creepy.
So it's like, I hope it's a little foggy, creaky, weird. They get on the boat. There's nobody there. They're calling around. Anybody here? Nobody there.
Because Taylor, like picture it isn't just like you just are on the boat on the deck and you're calling to people. You're going towards the boat on your ship and you're like, hello, matey,
hmm
hello. Like, like you're doing like
hmm
Captain, like there's something weird happening. Like, like it's
hmm
so
It's so
otherworldly.
scary. It's so creepy. Totally. So here are the facts. Here's what we know. There was nobody on board. No humans on board.
No bodies.
They only had no bodies. Exactly. No bodies, no live people, no people. There was one lifeboat that the Mary Celeste had. It was missing. So lifeboat is gone. Some of the papers are missing, as well as the navigational equipment. So whatever they would have used, like we talked about, those like things to like see the stars or whatever, that was missing. There was food and water on the Mary Celeste that would have kept people fed for another 6 months. So there was plenty of food, there was plenty of water. There are 3 hatches on the Mary Celeste. There was a big one in the middle and then 2 on the ends. The one in the middle was closed, but the 2 on the end were open, like that go into the cargo hold. In the cargo hold where those like 1,700 barrels were, there was 3.5 feet of water. So like not enough to sink it, but there was water in there. And so that could have been like worrying if you were, on the boat. One of the pumps was broken. So there were like 2 pumps, one on each side, that were supposed to pump out water from the cargo hold, that there was water in there. One of them was broken and taken apart. Like they had probably tried to fix it. So a speculation is that maybe it was clogged from coal because they had been like a coal ship in the past. So maybe it was clogged from something, but it looked like they had tried to fix it. There is something on the deck that there was a makeshift thing to measure water in the cargo hold, which I imagine is just like a stick, and you like put it in there and see how deep the water goes. So they're trying to measure how deep the water was in the cargo hold. The last log in the ship's log that was left there was from November 25th at 8 a.m., which was 9 days ago. And it said nothing unusual, but it did say that they thought that they saw land and they would have potentially passed some islands on the way there. So that's what the last log said. It said nothing unusual, nothing weird. Things are a little bit messy, but nothing showing a struggle, like just like normal, just like maybe things knocked over from the thing. And it was about 400 miles off course. Like, so it wasn't where it was supposed to be. The ethanol barrels were still there, but 9 of them were empty. The 9 empty
Weird.
barrels were made of red oak, but the rest of them were made of white oak. So the red oak barrels were more likely to leak. Just
So
FYI.
maybe they got high?
Maybe. Yeah, that's a
Wow, okay.
speculation. So Morehouse divides his crew in half, gives half the crew to the Mary Celeste and half to his boat, the De Gratia, and they go to Gibraltar. Do you know where Gibraltar is? I just learned
It's
this
the
today.
southern horn of Africa.
Spain.
Fuck.
It's actually the north of Spain. It's like almost hits Africa. It's like that gateway to the Mediterranean Sea. And then it's the very bottom of Spain. It's like 2 miles area and it is owned by England even today.
Weird.
You have to like
Really?
pass through that together. Yeah,
God, the British really fucked
I didn't
everything
know that.
up.
I know. So they they tow the Mary Celeste into Gibraltar, and under maritime salvage law, they are able to go to trial to see if they get what is on that. So maritime salvage law is a real law that's still a law. There's a council about it in 1989. Essentially, this is the quote about it from the law. The vessel must be in peril, either immediate or forthcoming. The salver must be acting voluntarily or under no pre-existing contract, and the salver must be successful in their efforts, though payment for partial success may be granted if the environment is protected. So essentially, if you find a ship who is in distress and you have no prior contact with them, you're not like there to save them, it happens by accident, and you save them, you're entitled to some of what's on that ship
Okay.
based on the law of the seas. The law of the seas. That's what
Love
they
it.
said. So after the hearings, they thought there was like some foul play and that alcohol might have been involved. That was like what they had said. And I'm sure there was like regular alcohol on the boat. I'm sure there was like wine and shit, not just
Sure.
ethanol, Yeah. So some of the rumors from the trial, they said that there was a bloody sword. The captain's sword was bloody, but when they like did tests on it, it was just rusty. Like it wasn't bloody, but it was found under his bed. So like he didn't grab his sword when he left for whatever reason. It was like still in his room. A vial of sewing oil was upright on like a sewing machine, which is like imagine like a little bottle on a table. But they're saying that like that meant it couldn't have been that crazy in the water, like couldn't have been super rough seas if stuff like wasn't if everything wasn't falling over.
Right.
Um, there were some cuts in the bow that looked like axe cuts, and they were saying that they ended up being like not man-made. But then I was thinking, do you remember that movie with like the sharks where people come the Open Water 2? Not Open Water 1, Open Water 2.
Never saw it.
So where like these people are on this like yacht in the middle of like the ocean and they like jump out of the boat to like play in the water, but they forget to put the ladder down so they can't get back on the boat. Um, because like of the hull being slippery.
Yeah.
So I was like, maybe they were trying to like axe and like climb up back up on the hull once they got off of it, but then they said that those aren't man-made, so maybe not that. The court ultimately gave the boat back to the investors. It went to Genoa, completed its mission, and arrived back in New York on September 19th, 1873. So like a little under a year later from when it left. Um, so what happened? There's a lot of rumors and a lot of things that like we think could have happened. And a lot of the rumors are because of all these stories that people made up about it. There's like too many stories maybe about what could have happened to it, And it's
Yeah.
too fun of a story. Um, there were some of the rumors were specifically because in 1893, for some reason, like many years later, the LA Times wrote an article about it, and they're the ones who first said the fun stuff like the food was on the table, the fires were still warm. You know, those rumors
Yeah.
where they were like,
They're not true?
they're not, those aren't true,
Fuck.
unfortunately. I know. But it's so much more fun if you get there and like the food is like on the table and it's not rotten, or like there's coffee in the coffee pot and it's still warm. Like where did everybody go? They like just disappeared right this instant. Like it wasn't this instant that disappeared. Like they disappeared, but not that instant. Arthur Conan Doyle of Sherlock Holmes fame
Yeah.
wrote a story before he wrote Sherlock Holmes. He wrote a story about this. He called it J. Habakkuk Jeffson's Statement, which was like
Roll
a
off tongue.
doesn't it? It was a story about a man who had been on the boat and he said that before he left an enslaved woman gave him this like rock from Africa and said like bring this back to Africa for me, and then on the way there they got like ambushed by like African pirates, and then he had this rock and they brought him back to their village and like all this like mystical stuff happened, and then they let him go home and write something down. Like obviously that didn't happen. That doesn't make any sense. But people were like thinking that, and like they had said like maybe we should investigate this, and Arthur Conan Doyle was like, don't do that, that's stupid.
Yeah.
He was like, I just wrote a story, like it's interesting, but like that's not what happened. I also listened to there's a fun podcast that I listened to that was like a radio play. It was called Old Time Radio, and so it was like the mystery of the Marie Celeste. It's Mary, not Marie, but Arthur Conan Doyle called it Marie in his story. But in that, it was like an old time radio show, but I think they just made it now. But whatever. It was like a thing where maybe there was a stowaway who was a criminal, and he killed everybody because they figured out that he was like the criminal. It's like maybe that happened, which is fun.
It's like your story
Um,
in Germany with the what's it called? The Hinton Schleben
mm,
fucking
Hinterkaifeck.
yeah. Yeah, it's kinda like that.
hmm Yeah, you're just like never gonna know what really happened.
No, and
And
it's
there's a lot of
creepy
people who
as
like have
dark here.
ideas.
I'm scared now.
Yeah. Some ideas like maybe it was a mutiny, maybe like the crew was mad at the Captain Briggs for some reason and killed him and then they left, like threw his body overboard, left in a lifeboat, thought they were close to land, thought they could escape or whatever. Like they never got anywhere because no one's ever seen them again. Maybe Morehouse and Briggs were in cahoots. People thought that maybe like Morehouse of the De Gratia knew that this was going to happen, and then they like stole a bunch of stuff and then try to get the insurance money. But that doesn't really make sense because like the cargo was still there. Like
Yeah,
it
what sort
doesn't.
of? Yeah.
And Briggs never reappeared. He didn't like appear somewhere being like great, and then they split the money. Could have been pirates, but also again, stuff was still there. Like they left stuff. It wasn't like it had been robbed or ransacked. There is a pretty good theory that it might have been an explosion. So some of the ethanol may have been leaking, and it could have made them scared enough to abandon the ship. And the problem with that is there's no soot and there's no burning anywhere, like in the cargo hold. But in 2005, a woman named Andrea Sella of the University College of London did an experiment, and there's a chance that like those 9 barrels that were leaking potentially could have exploded and done like a flash explosion and then gone out really fast. So it could have been like technically really scary. And then they could have thought that the rest of the boat was going to explode, so they left. But it wouldn't have left any soot or anything.
Yeah, were
It's
the
just like a
lifeboats
chemical
gone?
reaction. Yes, the one lifeboat was gone.
There's only one.
So it's yes. So it sounds there's only like 10 people on board, but it sounds like they left. So, but that's weird because if you're a ship captain, like I am, you know that you do not leave a boat if it's still able to float. You're much safer in the boat than you are in the lifeboat because lifeboats
Fuck
are
yeah.
small. You can't have a lot of stuff. You're safer being in your ship. Like a car in the snow. If your car gets stuck in the snow, don't leave your car because you're
Yeah,
much
yeah,
safer there than you are just like out in the open, out
right.
in the open. So they may have seen land and thought they were close enough and tried to like get to that land with their on the lifeboat because they thought the boat was going to explode. Um, that seems like the only reason that they would have left is if they thought that it was like a big explosion was imminent,
No, man,
because they
or it's
left
fucking haunted.
quickly. Or it's haunted. Of course, that's also the answer. I mean, their ghosts are definitely still on it somewhere
Oh
on
god, the
the
lights are.
sea.
It is so dark here, and I'm so scared right now. I'm gonna turn
It
my
is
lights
getting
on.
it's getting a little bit darker for you.
I know this is freaking me the fuck out. I'm only talking about this. Okay.
No, I mean, no, there's 100% it's still sailing as a ghost ship out in the world, but like a literal ghost ship because we don't know what happened. And we
Jesus.
never found them. Um, and so other like ideas are like maybe a giant squid, which would be hilarious, but the boat's not damaged. Maybe a water spout, which is like a water tornado. But we'll never know what really happened. But whatever happened, it scared them enough to leave, which is not something that they would do
Yeah, they're trying to
easily.
steal
You know what I
shit.
mean?
Them. Yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, like the people on the boat, like they wouldn't have just left casually because they know not to leave a boat. They never would have left if they didn't think they were in like immediate danger if they would have stayed on the boat. So I'm guessing that they thought it was going to explode and then just like got lost on their life raft because, wait, where did I write this down? They were about 400 miles off course because the navigational equipment was a little bit broken. So like even they were a little bit off where they thought that they were. So they might have thought that they were by other islands when they weren't. And so they might have thought that they were going to be a little bit safer. It was like it wasn't perfect. Like the whole thing was like a little bit weird from the beginning.
Yeah, it's not great.
You're frowning so hard. Are you gonna have nightmares, ghost ship nightmares tonight?
Dude, it's fucking freaky. These things called water spouts. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, look, like, where did this come from? Like, who created
I
these
know.
things?
No, I know. But like, and I mean, even like the weather was bad, and even like in waves. I mean, like I can't even imagine being like a 100-foot ship in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. You can see nothing for months, you know? It's terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
so just so everybody is aware, like again, reiterating, the movie is called Ghost Ship.
No,
It's
we're not there yet.
okay. All right, sorry.
We're still talking about the Mary Celeste. We're talking about Ghost Ship last.
Well, no, I'm talking about the movie because the movie was based on the Mary Celeste
What movie? Ghost Ship?
Ghost Ship.
I know, we're
Yeah,
talking
Ghost
about the
Ship.
movie Ghost Ship from 2002. Just wait.
Okay, sorry.
We're talking about that.
Sorry.
Okay. Um, there actually is a Mary Celeste movie with Bela Lugosi from 1935, that has him as like a stowaway who like killed everyone, which I did not watch, but I
Fun.
definitely want to. I'm sure it's good.
That's fun.
So we have all these rumors, we have this myth, like the myth of, dinner on the table, the myth of whatever, but really, we'll never know what happened to these people. The Mary Celeste kept sailing, but she also lost a lot of money. Like she was never successful. And people who didn't want to be on it, like, can you imagine being the crew that had to sail it back to America?
Fuck no.
Like,
It's
cool,
literally
cool,
the
cool, cool, cool,
theme of
cool, 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 cool,
Dementor.
cool.
It's literally the theme from Dementor. Like it is, dude. It's
No.
so fucking creepy. This room is so dark.
Yeah, no. You're so scared.
I'm turning lights on.
Yes.
I can still hear you. Bringing lights.
But yeah, so exactly. So it's terrifying. I can't imagine anyone being on it. It makes absolutely no sense. It's really, really scary. And in 1879, there was another captain who died early as well. He died young too. And in 1884, there was another captain, named Captain Parker, and he filled the Mary Celeste with like worthless cargo and run it aground to collect the insurance money.
Good.
So he did
Get rid of
that,
the fucking
and
thing.
people knew what he had done immediately. Like no one bought it, that it was like an accident. So he didn't get convicted. He didn't go to jail. He was let go, but he died 3 months later, just like as like a drunk on the beach. It got really dark at your house. You okay? It got so much darker than before. And then another person in the conspiracy. Did all your lights go out?
Dude, this is a scary topic. Keep going.
Are you okay? Are you gonna
I'm
be
good.
okay? I feel like you're not gonna be.
Luna's acting up. I don't know. There's a lot of weird shit going on.
October 1st. Okay. So there were 3 people involved in the conspiracy. This guy, Captain Parker, died 3 months later in poverty. Another one died by suicide. Another one went mad. So like they went nuts. The Mary Celeste had a couple more voyages. She ended up running aground in Haiti, and she's somewhere in Haiti. She just crashed against the beach and slowly disappeared back into the ocean, and she's gone.
Good. Who's
I
sad
know, I
about
agree with that.
this?
I would like. So this reminded me. In New York, there's like a boat that you can like. It's like also a bar, so you're like kind of like going in the boat, and like that's fun. I feel like I would go to the Mary Celeste if it was like a bar.
Weren't we supposed to go on the
Like
Queen Anne
Yeah.
in Long
I
Beach?
just
We were
thought of
supposed to
that.
do that. Because they do Halloweens there. They do like haunted. God, it's so fucking. I would never do that now. I'm so much wiser.
That sounds so scary. I love it.
I
I
would
would
never
totally
do
go, but I'd
that.
be really scared the whole time. I would freak out the whole entire time. So that's the Mary Celeste, the most famous of the ghost ships. Before we talk about the movie Ghost Ship, let's talk about one more. This one's from 1955. So more recent, and it also has some fun true crime things that happen near and around it.
Okay.
So this one is the MV Joyita. The MV stands for merchant vessel, and Joyita is spelled Joyita. It means little jewel in Spanish. So the Joyita was a smaller boat in the South Pacific. In 1955, 25 people were on board, and they were never found. They found the boat, but it was empty. There were no people on it.
But the thing is sinking.
So here, hold on. I'm gonna get there. Don't look at it yet.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay. The Joyita was built in 1931 as a yacht in Los Angeles. It was built for movie director Roland West. Roland West was married to a woman named Jewel Carmen, which is why he named it Joyita. That means little jewel. He bought it for his wife. She would take it back and forth to Mexico, go on cruises or whatever. They were like 1930s rich Hollywood, which is super fun. The Joyita was 69 feet long and 17 feet across on the widest, so smaller than the Mary Celeste, like a yacht. You might remember Roland West for having an affair with Thelma Todd. I don't know if you've heard of her, but she was an actress during the transition between silent films and talkies. There was a great podcast called "You Must Remember This." I don't know if by Karina Longworth. It's about like old Hollywood, and she does a whole series on Dead Blondes, and Thelma Todd is episode 2. So Dead Blondes, Thelma Todd. But Thelma
Fun.
Todd was married. Super fun. Thelma Todd was married to a actor named Pat DiCiccio. Pat DiCiccio later married Gloria Vanderbilt when she was 17. He was awful. He was a monster. But Gloria Vanderbilt later married a man named Wyatt Cooper, and that's Anderson Cooper's dad. I don't
Whoa.
know. I thought that was fun.
Small
Yeah.
world.
So yeah, exactly. So Thelma Todd was an actress, and she also owned with Roland West, they owned a little cafe in the Pacific Palisades. So it was like near the beach. It was a little cafe. She was like a famous actress, but had this little restaurant. She lived above it, and Roland West had an apartment that like attached to hers. It had like a door between their bedrooms. Like they were obviously together. And his wife lived about a block away, and she was fine. It was like cahoots. Everyone knew that was happening. Um, so on December 16th, 1935, in the morning, a maid found in the garage Thelma Todd's dead body. She was 29 years old. She died of carbon monoxide poisoning in the garage of the wife of Jewel Carmen. And she was in this garage in this beautiful car, wearing a beautiful gown, and had died somehow. And so it's a forever mystery. They think that Roland West may have done it. Maybe Jewel did it. Maybe it was an accident. Maybe she was trying to warm up. Maybe she was drunk and tired. She'd just been at a party in Hollywood and come back home. But she was very young, only 29 when she died there. So that's the true crime part. That's a fun story.
Fun.
It's going to be a mystery forever. Yeah. So, but Thelma Todd had definitely been on the Joyita a bunch because her boyfriend owned it, so she had been on this boat. So in October 1941, they sold the boat to the US government and sent it to Pearl Harbor. So this is 2 months before, I'm going to do this thing, ready? December 7th, 1941, a day that will live in infamy. Can you do better than that? We do it?
You December
Did I crush that SDR?
1st. December,
No,
wait, is it
December
1st?
7th.
December 7th, 1945, a day that will live in infamy.
1941, day that will live in
I think you did better than I did.
Whatever. So we don't know exactly what the Joyita was doing at Pearl Harbor when it was attacked by the Japanese, but it was there for sure. So it was in Hawaii during World War II. It spent World War II patrolling Hawaii. It was a patrol ship around the Big Island. In 1948, she was sold to a private firm who added refrigeration equipment, 2 more engines, and filled the hull with cork. So it would be really fucking hard to sink this ship because it was like up by cork. Like it was really buoyant in
You
general.
mean the cargo
So cool.
was cork?
No, they filled the hull with cork. Like just like added an extra layer of cork like around the bottom of
Oh,
it.
wow. Yeah, that's
Or
good
inside or
move. Why don't they do that to
made
every
it like
ship?
super buoyant. I totally agree. I'm gonna guess yes. Agree to
If
agree.
I ever buy
I
a
don't know
ship,
why.
I'm filling it with cork. That never occurred to me.
Just save all your wine corks and just like hot glue them around the outside of it.
I love that.
You can totally do that. So in 1955, it was owned by a woman named Dr. Catherine Luomala, who was a Hawaiian anthropologist. And she wrote a book, just FYI, named Voices of the Wind, which was used as the model for Disney's Tiki Room. And that started the 50s Tiki craze of like people,
So
whatever. So the
good
woman
for
who owned
her.
the boat is the woman who invented Tiki as like a thing. So the boat was in Samoa. She had given it to a friend to use in Samoa. And now it's 1955. The boat's owned by Dr. Luamala, but it's in Samoa. And it's about to do a run from Samoa to the Tokelau Islands, 270 miles away. So it's about to do like a pretty general run, 270 miles. It should take 2 days for it to go. One of the engines doesn't work. It's a 2-engine boat. One of them doesn't work. They delay a day and then they decide, fuck it, we're going to go with just 1 engine. So they get ready to go. The cargo on the Joyita is empty barrels. So it's like extra buoyant, It's like covered in cork.
Yeah.
There's barrels, empty barrels as the thing, and also some medical supplies. So there's some other things that are like, it's like regular shipping things. On board, there are 16 crew members and 9 passengers, including a surgeon who's on his way to the Tokelau Islands to do an amputation for someone who needs a doctor. And there's 2 children, just FYI. One's 3, one's 11. It should have taken 2 days, but it never arrived. They do air searches all over the area to try to find it, and they can't find it. So it leaves October 3rd. On November 10th, the captain of the ship Tuvalu, so about like a month and a half later, a captain named Gerald Douglas found the Joyita. It was listed to the port side, to the left. That's what you're looking at in the picture.
Yep.
But it was like kind of tipped over, but it wasn't going to sink. There was no way it was going to actually sink to the bottom because all of the empty barrels and all the cork.
Right.
Like it wasn't going to. So the facts are these. When they got on the boat, the radio, there were no people. Again, no bodies, no people. The radio was to the distress signal. So they were like maybe trying to do a distress signal when they left. There were barnacles on the left side that showed it was listed for a while. So it was like tipped over for a while. The bridge had been smashed. So some of the things on the top had been smashed. There was an awning of canvas on the deck that had been like makeshift. So people may have been trying to like shield themselves from the sun by like putting like a sheet over the deck
Right.
at some point. Some of the cargo was missing, not a lot, but some of it was missing. It had 4 lifeboats. All 4 lifeboats were missing, and those would have just fit all 25 people, would have fit in those 4 lifeboats. There had been a pump rigged in the engine room to try to like get out water, but it wasn't working. The clocks had stopped at 10:25, and which is actually, I feel like the first good argument I've ever seen for using like military time because they didn't know if it was 10:25 at night or in the morning, but because it was 10:25, obviously it was like a regular clock, but also all the light switches were on, so that makes them think it was 10 at night when all the power went out. That makes sense? The navigation stuff was missing. And on the deck, there was the doctor's bag and bloody bandages were on the deck. There was a leak in the cargo hold that might have been hard to find because maybe it happened at night and it was hard to get to. They think a pipe leaked. So they wouldn't have really known what had happened when they were like on the deck. They would have known that like maybe the cargo hold was filling with water, but they wouldn't have known why. But again, the boat was never going to sink.
But it was still listing.
So it was still listing. It was like potentially like tipping over pretty quickly, but it wasn't going to sink. It still could have been on it. So again, the captain would never have left the ship, is what like his friends say, what his like employers say, what everyone says. Like the captain wouldn't have left. He knows better. So one of the theories is that the captain died and everyone else panicked because someone was hurt because the doctor's bag was left out and there were bloody bandages. So how did they get hurt? Did something happen and the captain died and everybody else freaked out? Did like he get in a fight with one of the more experienced sailors and then they both died and it was just left with people who didn't know what to do and they left in the lifeboats? We don't know.
It's the meter, dude. It's the meter. It's like a vampire that's on the ship and nobody knows it's there. He just keeps taking them out one by one.
Hold.
And then he like turns into a rat or something.
Yeah. Yes, and just like bat.
It's the only explanation. It's the only rational explanation.
Another theory is that maybe the Japanese came in and stole it, but that seems a smidge racist. We're post World War II. I don't think could be really happened. Eventually, the Joyita was sold and scrapped, but she did run around. She did have a couple more runs. They fixed her and she had a couple more runs. She ran aground with passengers in 1957. She was beached in Fiji eventually. They wanted to make her into like a tea room, like a little restaurant. She was like on the beach. But then the government in Fiji was not super interested and they just let it go. And so piece by piece, the Joyita went back into the sea and she's gone.
The owner of the Joyita also, he directed The Monster and Lon Chaney's The Bat, which is about a bat, which is a silent comedy mystery film that is an adaptation of The Circular Staircase, which nothing is telling me that this is a movie about vampires, but it might be about vampires.
And Lon Chaney is very scary.
And Lon Chaney is very scary and known for doing great horror shticks.
Interesting. So
Probably.
here's what I learned. Let
Yes.
me tell you what I learned from this. First, if you are ever on a ship that is sinking or something that is happening, please leave a note. Please cut your finger and write on the wall with blood. We are leaving because we think this is going to explode. Or write, we are leaving because the captain died and we don't know what to do. Like, leave a fucking note. Maybe there's a note in a bottle somewhere in the ocean that we'll find someday. Someone from the Mary Celeste who's like, here's what happened. But like, please take notes and please let people know what's going on.
Taylor,
Is
they
my takeaway from
probably
this.
fucking would have if they weren't abducted by aliens or killed by Demeter, the
Exactly. It's also
vampire.
aliens. It also could be aliens. It could have been a giant squid. It could have been aliens. Maybe it's actually an underwater alien because those are a thing.
Wait, can we
Now that
talk
I'm thinking of it.
briefly about the movie? Because
Now, okay,
the
now we're gonna this is our third act. The third act is everybody, please watch the movie Ghost Ship from 2002. It's so fucking
it's
good. I just
so
watched it again.
good.
It has the
The
best opening
opening
scene of any movie
scene
I've ever
is
seen.
just fucking incredible.
It is
Incredible.
so good. I scream every time and I know what's gonna happen. It's fantastic.
Where he's dancing with the little
It's
girl. Oh my dude.
oh my God.
Yeah.
So it stars I'm gonna IMDb it. It stars Juliana Margulies, who was from The Good Wife and also ER, because it was made in 2002, so you would think ER. Who else is in it?
Oh, I
There's
was
Gabriel Byrne, super
yeah.
handsome, as like the handsome captain
He's
who's like
okay.
tortured.
He's not my first choice. He's okay.
For what?
Does
There's
everybody think
also,
he's handsome? I don't think he's that good looking.
I think he's handsome. There's
Can't
also
remember.
Desmond Harrington, who ended
Yeah.
up being in Dexter. He's like the guy in Dexter. He's the detective who like marries his sister. Well, not his sister, but Dexter's sister, or like likes her. Whatever. He's in Dexter. Um, Gabriel Byrne is very handsome.
He's not good
And
looking.
then no, he's like mysteriously handsome.
He looks like the Crypt Keeper's grandfather.
I'm gonna list all the people. Just
Isaiah
there's Ron
Washington, also of
Eldard.
ER fame. All
What
right.
is he in?
Isaiah Washington, ER.
Oh, that's what I was thinking. He's also he's in Grey's Anatomy. Was he
Grey's
also in
Anatomy,
ER?
same difference, same thing. No, no, no.
No,
I'm confusing the two.
he's in he's in Grey's Anatomy. There's Ron Eldard who's in like a bunch of stuff. He's in Deep Impact, Black Hawk Dawn. This the 90s was like really his time. Um, Super awesome. The 2000s. Oh my God, so good. And then there's I guess this is the only people I know, but it's so scary. It's so good. It's like so like this they find this ship. The ship has been missing since the 60s it's from Italy. It was like a cruise ship. Everyone got murdered by, I think demon.
We don't know. We don't know.
Spoiler alert. But it's great. And it's very scary and it's everything you want a ghost ship movie to be about. And I hope that there are a ton of ghost ships out in the world still because how fun would it be to find one?
So that's the thing.
Like I would love.
There's levels to this. So like you have the Joyita, which is a 65 footer, which is pretty big. Then you
Right.
have the Mary Celeste, which is a 100 footer, which is like bigger because science. But like, dude, imagine if you were to come up to a fucking Carnival cruise ship that should have
I
6,000
know.
people on it, dude. I'm like fucking like just kill yourself. Like there's nothing worse. Like as soon as okay, bro, you're gonna have to
No,
spend the
it
night
sounds
on this cruise ship. Like I would rather
no.
just fucking drown myself immediately because I know that's what's gonna happen. Just kill yourself right then and there. Like why even try? Why bother trying to survive?
It's like if the Titanic didn't sink. It was just like floating around the ocean for the last 100 years. And then you like find it and there's like, but there's no one on it, but there's no dead bodies. You're like, but where are the dead bodies? There's no dead bodies. And in Ghost Ship, actually, everybody dies, but there are no dead bodies, which is weird. Where do the bodies go in the movie?
Dude, it's not weird. It's because the thing has been out there sailing for like fucking 300 years. And like it's all decomposed and
Not
rotten
Ghost
because
Ship,
it's
it's
a
been like
ghost
40
ship.
years.
Whatever.
I love the idea of being out on the sea and seeing these like the mist and they're like these masts and there's this ship that looks like it should be from like, 300 years ago, and it has like a Spanish flag and like a pirate flag or whatever. You can get on it and it's empty except there's like bottles of booze that haven't been opened in 300 years. And like, I mean, it's so scary and so amazing. I love everything about it.
And then you have
I
the
want to know
Flying
about every ghost ship.
Dutchman. Then you have
Yes, that's the ghost
the
ship.
most famous. That is the Johnny Depp ghost ship of ghost ships. Like that is the flying ghost. Dude, it's weird, Taylor. We have such like similar affinity for like fucking horror.
I know.
things.
I love
Like
it
I
so
literally,
much.
I literally
I also
scared myself.
I was gonna say I'm also really scared of my backyard at night. So like I
I
would not
know.
like I'm walking onto a ghost ship.
Yeah, no, I scared
Oh,
myself sitting here talking to you because it turned into darkness and was like, oh my god, there's a ghost ship in my backyard. I don't fucking know.
I love it so much. It's my
Guys, go
favorite thing.
legitimately. Like, I hate being one of those people that says go watch a thing or listen to a thing because I'm like, my taste is not your taste, so I'm not gonna try and impute my taste on you. But I'm telling you, Ghost Ship is fucking good. It is a good fucking movie, and
It's on HBO right now. Yeah.
is
Or
it
Max or
really?
whatever.
Oh my god, I'm so doing
Yeah.
that tonight. I'm gonna rewatch this
Oh my
tonight
God.
because Taylor texted me and said, "Hey, watch Ghost Ship this week," and I was like, I don't need to because I have it memorized the way I have Jurassic Park memorized. Like I don't need to rewatch it.
Oh,
Yeah,
I know,
it's one of
Lindsay.
those. But like, I wouldn't mind
I
rewatching it because now Taylor scared me and I'm nervous.
Oh my God, it's so good. Yes. Oh my God. Please everyone watch it if you hadn't. It's great. And as far as I'll give you a movie to watch for next week as well, because I have another scary story to tell you next week.
Love it,
And I'm
love
very
it.
excited about it. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you everyone for listening. I have one shout out to my cousin Lindsay, who's the best. But
Yes,
I
thank
don't know
you,
if you
Lindsay.
saw on Instagram.
I literally just hearted your post. It was fucking awesome. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, yeah. She saw a stuffed passenger pigeon.
I
And she was
saw
talking
that.
about it and telling someone about it. And they were like, "Oh, I have one." And they showed one. So that was super fun.
So dope.
And thank you, Lindsay. You're the best. Yeah,
Thank you,
super
Lindsay.
fun.
And Taylor,
Okay.
thank you because this is a fun part of doing this podcast is like you think of these things. It's like wow, yeah. I,
I can't
I
wait to
did not
hear
know.
about the dreams that you have tonight. Yeah.
It's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad. But you literally just put me on a track. Okay, so Blood Vessel and Ghost Ship. Blood Vessel's like really fun, but it's like stupider than Ghost Ship. But like it'll still be fun. So listen to both or watch both.
That's fair.
Thank you, Taylor.
Thank you, Vars. Everyone, please find us on social at Doom to Fail Pod
Yeah, or write to us
and
at
email us.
doomtofailpod@gmail.com. Yeah, write to us. Email us at doomtofailpod.com or at gmail.com.
I'm on IMDb right now. FYI, also, if you have an opinion on Gabriel Byrne, because I'm looking at pictures of him from a movie from 1981 called Excalibur, and he's very handsome. So I just wanted to bring that up to everyone.
I'm gonna look him up right
Let us know how
now.
you feel about him.
Excalibur, Gabriel
Oh, and he's in a
Byrne.
movie called Shipwrecked in 1990. Looks very handsome there.
He looks better, but
Look up Shipwrecked.
he still doesn't live up to my standards.
Oh God, he was the dad in Hereditary. That's the worst.
Ugh.
It'd be so upsetting. Oh my God. Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, Taylor. I'm gonna cut it off.